Hey, all right, we are doing some Martial Power Mondays. We are going to first check my signal, make sure that I am ringing true. Make sure that I am ringing. I sure am. Okay, cool. Now that I have that, I can, I'm going to punch some buttons here. And while I do that, if you can punch the like and subscribe so you can keep track of what I got going on. And if you check down the link below, you're going to see a slew of books on DMsGuild.com, which are free for you to view. And if you like them, you can buy them. That'd be awesome. So you get an idea of how I do stuff, so you know where I'm coming from in general on this project. There's also a link to my Patreon. You're certainly welcome to support me through that if you wish. But more importantly, in the comments, there's a link to the free playtest content that we're going to be looking at, that we're going to be diving into and modifying today. And you follow me on Twitter and all the blah to keep updated. And I'd certainly love for you to follow, subscribe, spread the word, and have some fun with us. So now that I've gotten through all of my doobly-doo, this is the open playtest content. This is the link this is the link that is provided for you in the Patreon. This is a rough draft. Once all the stuff that I want to have in this book are in the book, then I will be able to send it off to writer and editor to clean it up, to make sure that it uses the natural language that 5e uses, to make sure that things click okay. And once they get done chewing on that, they pass it back to me. I'll then stream here the book layouts. And then once the layouts are done, I will then also stream illustrations for all the interior stuff, the chart stuff, I'm making the whole thing so you can see the whole thing. The only thing I'm not sharing is the final text and the cleaned up text that's going to go into the edits and stuff. That'll be a part of this, because once it goes onto the DMsGuild, that's the only place it can be published. You can't copyright mechanics, but you can copyright how they're written. So I'm writing them sloppy here in this document, and then having more professional people come through and help me make sure that the language is correct. So this document that I've been sharing as a playtest is not the final wordage and layouts that you're going to see in the DMs product. But once the DMsGuild thing publishes, it'll be 100% free preview. You can read the whole thing, front to cover, the back cover. And then if you like it, please, by all means, purchase it, so that you're encouraging me to do more of this craziness. But today, what we're doing is we are getting into... So until now, what we had attempted to do was have ranged smites, like smites. Okay, so you've got smites with melee weapons. And so we already have the path curve for... what we're commonly calling strike powers, but are also smite powers, and I can get rid of that. Okay, so you start off, like, if you are a paladin, you start off with a d6 die for all the powers that you're using, whether you're accumulating dice for like added damage, or you're taking like you're rolling 3d6 and you're taking the best result and applying that to your attack roll. Whichever the power is determines how you're either imbricating or accumulating your dice to affect the roll that you have. What we any class that uses martial powers can do a first level smite that does d6 damage, including the paladin. The difference is that the paladin can automatically add an extra die, as you would expect. And that's for melee stuff, not like melee weapons, as you expect. There's also we talked about paladins before, so it's not like they're being shorted on stuff. They got some interesting mechanics that go along with it. It's just I'm being concise just to get through the promo piece here, and for us to dive into the actual mechanical changes. Hey Tyler, what are you up, bro? Oh hey man, this is Don't What Not DM. Hey man, good to see ya. Okay, great. So the idea is that, so what I was originally attempting to do was allow ranged weapons to use the same smite scaling weapon damage as melee did, and the solution I had initially come up was have a concentration tax, which is you had to maintain concentration on at least a first rank or higher power that allows for ranged weapon attacks, but it's clunky. And it's not getting the results that I want. So the easier solution that we have is that when you're making a strike attack or paladins are doing smites, then they're going to use the power die that they have for the level that they're at, which is typically going to be a D6, a D8, or a D10, depending on which class. Depending on what level you are and what rank of power you're throwing around. And I'm cleaning up this chart a bit here, like that. So it starts with a D6, it goes to a D8, goes to a D10. It doesn't outscale the Battle Master's superiority dice by intention, because the Battle Master die never has throw more than one die at a time to do whatever it is that you do. While this system has you spending multiple points of mana to accumulate dice to throw all together. So it's a different interpretation of a lot of the superiority mechanics and other class features that we see inside the game, like the Blood Hunter that I spent like 3 sessions on. So, hey, man, what's up? I'm working on some subclass stuff. Awesome. I'm going to watch your stream for a while. Well, great. Welcome to it. Hopefully it's worth your time. So what we've come up with is to simplify the whole process is instead of creating convolution of different type of concentration effects to balance out against other concentration sustained powers, to then integrate this ranged smite idea, is instead just to drop the die for a ranged smite. So if you're rolling in a melee attack, if you're rolling say 2d6 on your 6th level and you're rolling 2d6 to deal extra damage, if it was a ranged attack, if it's a ranged weapon attack, then it would be a D4, D6, D8. And then you can maintain concentration to swap up the die to be the same as your melee die, which is D6, D8, D10. Ultimately, that's going to make things a lot easier. So I'm going to go through the process of codifying that today, and looking at the concentration effects that we had created and the ranger fighting styles that had taken ranged smites into account, and then rebuilding those through. So give me a second here for me to set a clock. I'm going to check my dial here. Looks like that's dialing good. So I'm going to drop this. Oops, I didn't. I left my picture up. So this is the map that we're working on. You got the D6s, the D8s, and the D10s at 2nd or 3rd level, depending if it's a subclass option or if it's a hybrid class like Ranger Paladin. And then at 10th level, everybody gets a D8, and then at 18th level, everyone gets a D10. The fighters, rangers, rogues, paladins, monks, barbarians, they're all using the same progression so that they can smoothly multi-class into each other, so you're not being penalized in your power depending on the class. And having ranks scaling on even numbers instead of odd numbers is oddly eloquent in building out multi-class. Like, you have to be 6th level to gain access to 2nd rank powers, regardless of what class it is that you're playing. So if you're playing, if you go like 5 levels of fighter using the martial the power subclass, and if you take 7 levels of paladin, you would have access to 2nd rank powers. But between the 5 and the 7, you're actually 12th rank total, which is inside. So you'd be able to roll D8s, and you can spend up to 3 mana at one time. But as a paladin or as a fighter, you can only gain 1st rank powers, and you only have total powers 4 of them. And then if you are a 7th level paladin, you can learn up to 2nd rank powers, and you would have a total of 6 powers that you could learn. So you can learn 6 powers up to 2nd level 5 powers. Fourth is 4 plus 6 equals 10. And if you look here at 12th level, the example that we're using, it's also 10. So like if you went like 10 levels of fighter and 10 levels of paladin for a total of 20, it would be 16 powers that you know total, or it'd be 8 and 8 powers that you know total. So it's all the same. Basically, when you're multi-classing, what it lets you do is you can accumulate all your levels and see how much mana you can spend at a time. And it also determines the power die that you get to roll. Level 10 plus level 10 gets you up to 20, so you're going to have a D10. But then you're going to have the total number of powers that you know is going to be determined by each individual class. Like if you have 3 levels of fighter and 7 levels of paladin, 3 levels of fighter only just begins with 3 here, and then 7 here is 6. That's 9, which is less than the 8 that you would have here. So you would add those separately, and then you would add the mana points, your mana pool separately. A 3rd level fighter would have 3 mana, while a 7th level paladin has 14. So 3 plus 14, that's 17. That's in comparison to the 10 that you would have, which would be somewhere between 10 and 20 points. Like I just said, you'd have 17 with mine. So it curves out pretty smoothly in multi-classing. I honestly think that would be a better solution for multi-classing with full casters and half casters and subcasters, but we're tackling one monster at a time, and so we're doing this martial powers thing. So that's the basic curve here. Like if you're a 10th level character, or if you're multi-classing at a 10th level, then you're going to be able to spend 3 mana at a time to do a smites, to use a strike power, which could do 3d8 damage on top of your weapon damage, similar to a divine strike, but less potent because anyone can do it, not just a paladin. A paladin has its own kickers to make them the better smiter that the player's handbook has them presented as. So this is a clumsy enough intro. So we're going to kick through here, and we're going to, let's see, let's go down to the, did I get this thing up and running like I wanted to? No, 20 minutes, go. All right, got about an hour or so. So let's see, Paladin, Ranger, there we go. Ranger class feature, spellcasting. You can acquire spellcasting and use powers together. You're just going to choose, do I want a power, do I want a spell? There you go, it's pretty straightforward. So you get the best of both worlds, but the power system that I have in here is designed to be a lot more improvisational and to expand out like skill usage, have a little bit more social engagement, have more exploration options, as well as obviously combat options as well. So Ranger fighting styles, you gain them at 2nd level. You can use strike power. Okay, so Ranger archery, you can use let's say your strike powers with ranged weapon attacks can use the melee weapon power die instead of the reduced ranged weapon die. And then we can get rid of the 6th level comment because we're not making a distinguishment anymore between range close and range far. And ranged archery, your strike powers with ranged weapon attacks can use the melee weapon die. We have that. In addition, you can score critical hits with ranged weapons by rolling the listed number on a d20 at different levels. Your ranger level 2, 10, 18. Crit range is 19 to 20, 18 to 20, 17 to 20. So that's all we really need to make changes for the ranger archery. That works out really well. The mark of prey we modified to replace hunter's mark. I'm still pleased with that. As an object interaction, you can mark a target within 90 feet because you get a free object interaction each turn. So as basically a limited free, a once per round free action. You can mark a target within 90 feet as your prey, and while marked, you gain 1 power die bonus to attack against your marked prey, which is at second level is going to be a D6. So while marked, you make intelligence investigation checks and wisdom perception checks with advantage against your prey. The mark remains until the prey falls to 0 hit points. You switch targets using an object interaction or dismiss the mark as part of your turn or begin a long rest. So while marked, you get +1 power die bonus to attacks, not the damage. See, I think Wizards really kind of boxed in the Ranger's power budget by making Hunter's Mark a damage boost instead of a hit boost. I think the Ranger fantasy is fulfilled better by making it an attack boost instead of damage boost, because there's tons of stuff you can implement to give Rangers more damage. It's them hitting their mark is what you really want, right? I mean, it's even the statement, hit your mark. So, oh man, nothing tastes like water when you're thirsty. It's like in mid-high 70s here in Seattle today, which is pretty damn hot for Seattle. It's nothing compared to Missouri, but or Arizona for that matter, or Texas, but all places I've been. But it was hot out, so had to drink the water. We already did all the conclaves in one of the separate sessions. Check the playlist, the Martial Powers playlist. I think it was around. I think we went through all these like around session 12 through 14. I think it's around there. Just look it up. It's properly labeled. And so that was an easy fix for us to modify the Ranger. So let's go down into all the other mechanics for actual martial powers. Let's see. Exploit powers, maneuver powers, reaction powers, strike powers. Strike powers are similar to Divine Smite. When you hit with a weapon attack, you can channel mana to deal additional damage and target the creatures with the strike's effects. The same strike can be channeled multiple times each round when you succeed in an attack roll, but any persisting effects overlap similar effects. For example, if you use a maneuver that blinds a creature until they succeed a saving throw to end the effect, targeting the same creature with another power that blinds the same target would not have two persisting effects. One save would end the blindness for the maneuvers. Exploits can be used with D20 die rolls, triggering by maneuvers. Sustained, and that was strike powers. Exploits, strike powers, sustained powers, ranged. Oh, there we go. Range of effects. Martial powers that target enemies. Either have a listed range, an area. Ending power effects. Sustained powers, exploits can be used, triggered by, let's see, reaction powers, maneuver powers. Okay, I don't actually need that statement there. Get rid of that. Exploits can be used with D20 powers movement triggered by reactions. Correct. Maneuvers. Exploits can be used with D20 die rolls or movement triggered by maneuvers. Exploit powers, maneuver powers, range powers, strike powers. There we go. Let's see. Some advantage, for example, if using. Let's see. Where do I have? Talking about range of effects, power, strike powers. There we go. Range powers, martial powers, range of effects, martial powers that target enemies either have a listed range or an area of effect or require a weapon attack. If the power has a listed range or area of effect, you only need to see the target creature or location to affect it. Powers that require a weapon attack can be done with any weapon you're proficient with. Strike powers can be channeled through melee weapon attacks, including unarmed strikes and thrown weapon attacks. And thrown melee weapon attacks and melee weapons that are thrown making ranged attacks when thrown and thrown, but channeling strikes with a ranged weapon. Let's see. Strike powers can be channeled through melee weapon attacks. using the power die listed in the power progression. Let's see. I don't need to do it that way. But channeling strikes with a ranged weapon. The ranged weapon uses a smaller die as listed below. Let's go with let's see, channel level melee die ranged strike die. Ranged strike. Level, let's go. Yeah, that's right order. Channel level. It's going to be D6, D4, D8, D6, D10, D8. Comment, hey, so are you just doing a 5e version of 4th? No. This is I'm aware that 4th edition had the term powers for different things that 4E marshals could do, but this is different in that we're creating 5 classifications, like 5 disciplines of techniques, or that we're calling powers. And there are exploits, which are things that modify D20 die rolls, like when you're making a stealth check, you can roll additional power dice to increase the results, a lot like inspiration dice. There's also reactions, which is you spend mana. Like exploits, you spend mana, you roll extra dice when you're making a die roll. Like I am making a stealth check. I don't do anything prior to doing so. It's just I declare I'm making a stealth check, or the DM declares to make a stealth check. I can then spend 3 mana, and I can spend, when I spend those 3 mana, I can roll 3d8, and I can take the best of those 3 dice and add that to my stealth check. And then if I have Bardic Inspiration active, I would then also be able to add Bardic Inspiration. And then that's basically, or like, and if I also have like Artificer quick, is it Quick Wit or whatever it is, the D4, and then I could potentially have a cleric use guidance or whatever for an extra D4. So I could theoretically have like a D10 from the bard, a D4 from the artificer, a D4 from the cleric, all stacking as intended. And then using this power system, I could spend 1 mana for rolling an extra D8 and then add all those up. Or I could spend like 2 mana, 3, 4, up to 5 mana to spend up to 5 dice. And then on this D20 die roll, it'd be whichever result is the best. The more dice I throw, the more likely I am to cap out. And at 18th level, I can roll a D10. So if I'm rolling 5 D10, the likelihood of me getting closer to a plus 10 on my die roll is very high. But for strikes, which is the title of smite type disciplines, the strikes, if I were to spend 3 mana and add 3d8, I would add up all 3d8, just like you would with normal smites. So the difference there is if I'm rolling a d20, I'm going to take my best of. If I'm rolling damage or like grappling checks, sometimes like trip attempts, it depends on what it is, and it spells it out in the power. But for the most part, it's whenever I'm doing damage or making some sort of a strike attack, it's going to add up all the dice, and then that's your result. If it's something that's making a change to a d20 ability check, saving throw, that sort of thing, an attack roll, is going to take the best of dice so that the bounded accuracy inside of 5e remains relevant. It's no worse than using a superiority die and an inspiration die from your bard. All those mechanics are already built into the game as intended. We're just building an alternate power system with a spell point mana source for you to be able to spend ad hoc when you want to have those things apply, kind of like a superiority dice. You can just apply the superiority die when you make the attack and you hit. When you hit, then if you want to spin a superiority die to do extra damage and like push somebody or something like that, like we got that stuff in here. So calling the powers have, however, makes me think of fourth. I mean, I like the idea, I really do. That's fine. It's if you want to think about it, there's paladins, there's rangers, there's monks in here, and that gives us access to doing fun stuff like psionic effects, like telekinesis. We've got some time travel abilities in here. We've got a lot of TK abilities in here. So I think powers is appropriate. It's I think it invokes the language that I want. So everyone can argue about aesthetics. Maybe not everyone. Maybe people like the title of mystic versus a scion versus the talent. There's a lot of different ways you can label stuff, but this is one that's largely unused in 5e, so it felt like safe ground. So I'm content with it. I'm open to. I don't think I'm open to changing it at this point. But I recognize the concern, and mad respect to 4E enthusiasts. Let's see. Or power tier. You can channel strikes through ranged weapons, exploit powers. Let's see. Let's go back to certain class features and powers allow you to use the melee strike die instead of ranged strikes as detailed below. There. All right, now we're going to comb through all the 113 powers that we have here to see which one of them actually applies to ranged weapon attacks that we now have to modify with this new system. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Sleek design is a priority. If you're going to introduce an entire new power and resource system that is not just out of the box 5e, it needs to be smooth. And we are slow cooking this guy for months. I have a 16th level team that has a ranger, an arcane trickster, as well as a moon druid that I allow them to use both spells and a stack of martial powers from here, and I keep swapping out what powers they have access to. They started using them at 12th level last year, and we're now up to level 16 in the team. So, and they're still using. They're still using. It's a real crapshoot of whether they're going to use a power or they're going to use a spell. They're both incredibly useful. The powers that they, like the exploits they have access to, they use a lot because they do a lot of skill checks on stuff when they're doing exploration. It's really a crapshoot about whether they're going to want to lean into spells or lean into powers. But using if you check the description down below at the DMsGuild, the books that I have, you can look at all pages of all that stuff at no cost. But you'll see a commonality there that a first level spell is 1 point, a 5th level spell is 5 points, a 9th level spell is 9 points, and like a wizard at 20th level has 80 points total. And the math on that actually curves out pretty much identical as the 133 spell points that a wizard would have using the DMG at 20th level versus 80 points here. I'm reducing the curve of the spell points from 1 to 9 instead of 2 to 13. Just because it's easier to do it that way, and because I'm a color mana enthusiast. And to make color mana work, it has to be a 1-to-1 point conversion. Otherwise, it gets really wonky really quickly. Not to mention, you really got to ask yourself, why is a 9th level spell only 7.5 times more cost than a first level spell when it's 9 levels higher. At least with this 1 to 9 system, a first level spell is 1 point and a 9th level spell is 9 points. In the end, your wizard's going to end up having the same amount of spell casting power at the end of the day. You're still going to blow through your 1st, your 9th, your 8th, your 2 7th, your 2 6th, your 3 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and your 4 1st. It's all going to pretty much pan out the exact same curve. So you're not losing anything by using this 1 to 9 system, but it's a lot easier for you to use. And I have all the conversion stuff in there, like how you have to modify, like the Artificer summoning additional turrets. Since you don't have slots, you're spending spell points. What does that look like? Same thing with like the Drake Warden, blah, 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 blah. And it adds a lot more flexibility to the system. And it lets you do cool things like color mana, elemental mana, shadow magic, where you're defining different points in your mana pool to have access to different types of powers. So, thanks. So let's see. Going through here, add up craftsman. Nope, that doesn't have anything. Ambush. When you're making an ability check, you can use your stealth skill. Nope, that's not relevant. Practice charlatan. No. Charge. No. Cliff runner. No. Commanding presence, no. Field medic, no. Empowered shot. Okay, so when you make a ranged weapon attack, you can make a ranged weapon attack at close range with advantage. In addition, you can use strike powers with melee. Power dice if the attack succeeds. That's easy enough. Heart of Artifice. So that's an exploit. So like I make the attack roll, I'm going to spend a point of mana, and like keeping in mind like a where are we at? Where are we at? There you go. So like let's say a 4th level ranger. A 4th level ranger will have 8 mana on a long rest. So this first exploit here. Now, granted, a ranger could choose to take the ranger fighting style to automatically use a melee power die when making a ranged strike. But if for whatever reason he opted out of choosing that, you could. Like a 4th level fighter, for instance, that's a bow specialist. Hey, thanks for that. Restarting. Another 40 minutes to go. The empowered shot. If a fighter were to take empowered shot, then you'd be able to spend a point of mana. You would gain advantage on the attack if it's within close range, like a longbow is 120 feet. So if the target's within 120 feet, you spend a point of mana. Not only are you going to be at advantage with that attack, but you'd be able to use the D6 instead of the D4. So I'm trying to build these things so that they're intuitive for you to use, that you're always gaining advantages for different things, and that they're synergizing with each other. Kind of like Magic the Gathering, how you can build card combos to work off each other to synergize and create this Gestalt effect. So I'm trying to do with the powers here as well. Let's see. Gifted Artisan, Ground Fighting, Inquisition, Extended Attack, Flash of Insight, Heart of Artifice, Master Burglar, Natural Hunter. When making an ability check that can use the investigation, nature, or survival skill, add 1 power die per mana channel. It's okay. Swift tools, no. Tactical assessment, that doesn't matter. Unnerving focus, ability check. Second rank, 2 mana to spend on these. Far shot, there we go. You can make a ranged weapon attack at far range without disadvantage. In addition, you can use a melee I don't think I need far shot anymore. I think that simplifies that. I think we can just have a single hold on, let's go back to that. You can make a ranged weapon attack. I don't think that needs to be second rank. So let's drop that. So let's go back to first rank. Empowered shot. Let's instead do this. You can make a ranged weapon attack at far range without disadvantage. Instead of gaining advantage at close range, you can get rid of the disadvantage at far range. That's interesting. In addition, you can use strike powers. You can channel strike powers with melee power dice if the attack succeeds. Wouldn't a blackjack be nice? Are you going to add an elemental way of dealing damage, though melee causes strike as... Yeah. We've got that. Yeah, we've got that all sorted out. The default damage that a paladin deals with smite is radiant damage. You can always deal radiant damage, but there is here. I'll skip ahead here. Actually, I'll switch to the other document so I don't have to mess up my lines. But streaming down to let's go to Psionic Strike. Your weapon deals force or psychic damage and add 1 power die per mana burned. So if you're using a Psionic Strike with a melee weapon, if you're, say, a second level ranger or a second level paladin, you'd be able to, instead of, if you're using your smite power, instead of smite with radiant, you'd be able to use, if you're using Psionic Strike, you could use either force or psychic damage instead of radiant damage, because you're spending specifically on the Psionic Strike power. If you're just throwing a smite, it's just gonna automatically be radiant, but it doesn't have any kicker effects. You could use grappling strike, and it would just be a melee attack with strike powers. Like, you could spend a point to do a grapple as a result of dealing damage, or freezing strike deals cold damage. And so the weapon damage is cold, and it deals an additional power die of cold damage on top of it. If instead you're just doing a generic smite, then it's going to deal radiant damage, but it's not going to get any of these kicker effects. Alternatively, or in addition, if you're using, like, say, the color mana paradigm, if you are here, let me go here real quick to the DMsGuild. So I can point this out, DMsGuild, and then we'll go to revised color spell list. This is free for people to look at, and it's pay what you want on top of it. But taking a look at the document here real quick, this will give you an idea about how color philosophy works with damage types. Aspects. Okay, great. So if you're using if you're using a color mana paradigm, if you're not using a color mana paradigm, then you're just using generic mana like key or whatever, then you would have to pick maneuvers. You'd have to pick strikes that deal a specific type of elemental damage to benefit from that elemental damage. Like corroding strike deals either acid or necrotic damage, and you gain the power die of additional acidic or necrotic damage, your choice. But if you wanted to be an acid themed character, and you're using like color mana paradigm, like Rakdos or like Golgari, would be like a lot of necrotic or acidic effects. So if you're using black mana, B equals black, you can automatically, even if you don't have any, even if you're not using a specific, like how to say, like if I were to choose Phase Strike, it says here that you would normally be able to do radiant damage, but if I use Phase Strike using black mana, I could just deal acid damage or necrotic damage or poison damage or psychic damage, or because I chose Phase Strike, I could use radiant damage. So the way that color mana paradigm or the elemental mana paradigm, like if you were to, you can check out how the elemental paradigm works. If you go in here to look at elemental key, this is another document that's free for people to view. This is taking the way of the 4 elements and converting it into a 4 color mana paradigm, as well as a 4 elemental paradigm of air, earth, fire, and water. And so if you were to go down and look at weapon elemental damage types here, air, earth, fire, and water, if you're using water element, then you're basically stuck with cold damage. If you're using air key, you could do cold, lightning, or thunder damage. If you're using earth key, you're basically stuck with thunder damage. Although there's an argument for force. Fire would be fire and lightning, so there you go. And if you're using the color mana paradigm, if you're using blue magic, then your defaults are going to be cold or thunder damage. If you're using red mana, then it's going to be fire, lightning, or thunder. And if you're using green mana, it's going to be cold or thunder. And this all pretty much lines up with what's inside of the MTG card sets, as well as the Adventures and Forgotten Realms convergence into Magic the Gathering. This all curves out pretty smoothly. So if you're using generic key, all the key that you have is just universal. So anything you have, you can use it. If you're doing stuff, if you're like using elemental key, then if you have everything devoted to fire key, you don't have access to air disciplines. So you're intentionally limiting your technical mechanics, your mechanical options for the aesthetics of I am a firebender, so I only want fire abilities. So all my key is going to be fire. Whenever I'm using key to deal damage, I can choose to do fire or lightning damage with it. That's the perk that I get. For limiting my spell options, I have the freedom of automatically applying different types of damage. It's a balancing factor. So anyway, that's the thoughts behind that. Hopefully that answers your question. No worries, man. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. So back to the powers. We're looking at Far Shot versus Empowered Shot. I think they both have a place, but I think Far Shot does not need to be second rank. So you can make a ranged weapon attack at far range without disadvantage. In addition, you can channel strike powers with melee power dice if the attack succeeds. I'm pretty happy with that. So just how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're at third has 8, 9 from the Blood Hunter. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Then with the precise attack, you can make an attack roll with advantage. And add 1 power die per mana channeled. You can make an attack roll with advantage. So precise strike and empowered strike are very similar, except empowered shot is first rank, so only costs 1 mana. And it doesn't add. It gives you the advantage at close range, and it improves your die to your melee die, but it doesn't add any additional dice. Neither does Far Shot. So if you go into the second rank and you look at precise attack, you can make an attack roll with advantage. So you can make Far Shot with 1 and then precise shot with 2 for a total of 3 mana. You would gain advantage. You can make an attack roll. So so if you can make an attack roll with advantage with a precise strike, but you're making the shot at far range at disadvantage, that would nullify the disadvantage. Or you could spend an extra point of mana with Far Shot and get yourself to a word salad. Where did we? Power Shot, Far Shot, E, F. E, C, Field Medic, E, F. There we go. Far Shot. I was wondering why I was having a break there. It's because extended attack, flash, E, F. These things are out of order. E, F, E. Extended. GGGHI. I was wondering why things were all screwed up. My alphabets were batting on me. There we go. Now we're back in sync. Heart, Inquisitive, Master Burglar, Natural Hunter, Proselytizer, Resilient, Sage Advice, Swift Tools, Tactical, Unnerving, Veteran, Cooperative, Fast Feet, Ideal, Save, Phase Attack, Precise Attack. When you make an attack roll against a target with less than full cover, you can ignore the cover and attack with advantage if you can see the target. second rank with up to. You can make an attack roll against a target with full color. When you make an attack roll against a target, you can see, you can ignore any cover I don't remember that. When you make an attack roll against a target you can see. Against a target with cover that you can see. With advantage. Make the roll with advantage. Roll with advantage. And ignore any benefit from the targets. And ignore any benefit the target receives from cover. Yeah, happy with that. It's 2 mana, so if you can see them like through a window, you can phase shot through the window and still hit them. Skill prowess, I'm happy with that. Blood Hunter conversion, Mystic Synergy, bonus attack, channel, maneuver. You can make a weapon attack as part of the bonus action. Attack made at the beginning and during the attack. Maneuvers, bonus attack. You can make an attack with a weapon in your hold. Coordinated attack. You can empower a target in 30 feet to use a reaction. Take attack roll, blah. Coordinated dash. You can empower PD to hit. Coordinated dash, you can empower target ally with 30 to hit. Mobility, you can dash, disengage, rally, swift resuscitation, overrun, recuperation, vanish, goad, phase. Pack tactics, restraining hold, double strike, flicker pounce, sleeper holds while grappling, of course grab a creature, blah. Maneuvers, curse the eyeless, healing, curse. I don't think anything here is going to modify that stuff. Wave of Terror, Controlled Fall, Deflection, Evasive Footwork, Feint, Interception, Lightfoot, Meticulous, Moving Target, Overbearing, Parry, Riposte, Curse, Respite. First Strike has a reaction to roll an initiative. If an enemy is within range, use a reaction to make an attack roll against that enemy instead. The result of the roll is your initiative count, in addition to dealing any damage if the attack succeeds. Great Fortitude, Iron Will, Lightning Reflexes, Countering Attack. With range, cast a spell. Reactive Jaunt, Hexproof, Indestructible. Blood Hunter. Reaction, Curse of Exposure. Yeah, I don't think any of these are modifying. Strikes are just blanket. You just use the small one when rolling multiple dice, add results. We already know that. Poisoning, blinding, striking, thunder, ensnaring. Yeah, I'm good with these. Sustained. Okay, great. Sustained. This is where we're probably gonna have to do some work. Let's look at this. Blind Sense, close. Okay, great. So let's go to D&D Beyond, and let's go into feat. Oh, okay. Is there a master list of feats? Sources, game rules, feats. Thank you. Let's see. Critical Role, Everon, Barcelona. Feat name, feat source. Prex. Yeah, not happy with that. Tags, not so much. All right. Let's see. How many pages can there possibly be of feats, right? Whoa, that can't be all of them. Is that all of them? Really? Huh. That's not nearly as many as I thought there would be. Okay, cool. Wow. Okay, easy mode. Let us go into here and see how things break down. So, let's see. CBE. You ignore the loading property. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls. When you use the attack action, and attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use bonus action to attack with any crossbow you're holding. Bonus action, attack. Oh, right, because the hand crossbow is a ranged weapon as opposed to a thrown melee weapon. That makes sense. So that is their sharpshooter. I think is the only other real standout. Let's go down to just looking for anything. Ooh, gunner. Increase your dex. Gain prof with firearms. Ignore loading property. Being within 5 feet of hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage. Okay. And healer, heavy armed master. Lightly armored. Magic initiate. Combat. Polearm. Revenant. Second. Sharpshooter. You have mastered ranged. You can make shots that others find impossible. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage. Ranged attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. Before you make an attack with a ranged weapon that you're proficient with, you can choose to take a -5 roll and add +10. Okay, cool. That's pretty straightforward. Close quarter archery. So when you there's close quarter archery. And there is sniper. So let's look at this close quarter combat, which is different. I think these are the only two. Yeah, these are the only 2 powers. Let's verify that. Strike, Daunting, Master of Fate. Cool. Okay, so that is the only sustained power that we have, and those are both first. So let's go to close quarter archery. Drop this in there. Let's hand this out a bit. Let's see. When you channel this power, you gain the following features. When you make a ranged attack, let's see. When you channel this power, you gain the following abilities. When you make a ranged attack, oh, there you go. When you channel a strike power with a ranged weapon attack, you can use the of your melee power die, period. And we're definitely keeping lock. That's a great lock ability. See if there's anything else that we need here. Lock. Get out of there. Get out. When you lock ability, gain your range weapon attack ignores half of the opponent's quarter. Okay, you don't need that anymore. Strike powers the range are made with long range. Okay, we don't need that anymore either. Okay, cool. That resolves the sniper abilities. You can use strike powers with range attacks. We already have that resolved. Nice 5 penalty. We don't need that because we have the sharpshooter feat specifically. Okay, great. So we completely resolved the sniper feat, or the sniper power. I'm super happy with that. Let's see what is laying around in here. Make a ranged attack. For you get the sharpshooter that takes care of that. Your strike power is a ranged attack and adds a normal damage. When you channel this power, you gain the following benefits. When you channel this power, while sustaining this power, the power die, let's see. I'll sustain this power. Strikes channeled through ranged weapon attacks. Use the melee weapon power die size. Increase the power die rolled from the ranged weapon die to the melee weapon power die size instead. Period. And then lock. Cool, that was easy. And I can get rid of all this extra gobbledygook. Oh god, that's so much simpler. Nice. Super freaking nice. I'm not going to call it close quarter archery. Let's call it what do we want to call it? Ranged. Ranged striker, ranged power, ranged combat. God, I love that attack. I love that opportunity attack. Like, that ranged opportunity attack makes this worth, like, this is totally worth a ranger taking this, even though he doesn't need the range, the sustained effect. But if he locks this, he gains the opportunity attack, which is freaking great for any martial. So let's say, ranged opportunist. Let's call it that. And we'll come down here. There we go. Okay, cool. Hey, that was easy. Yeah, freaking glorious. Okay, cool. So that takes care of all of that. And so now we can move on to the other piece that we wanted to work on, which is going to have us jumping back into jump. the master document in general. And let's shrink this back up to here. Get back on here. Hey guys. Okay, cool. So let's see. Where are we at? Okay, great. So we've been working with Artificers, and we've been working with imbuements. And we have the power gear, which is at second level you can imbue a piece of gear with a first rank power. Artificers use normal spells; they are spell casters. But when they learn when they learn imbuements, they can choose a martial power as one of their imbuements. So like anything, literally like at second level they can choose any first level thing. So like that. That thing we just created, the ranged opportunist. We could have an artificer could imbue bracers or greaves or a ring or a contact lens. Who cares? You can just take an object and you can imbue it with you can infuse it with the ranged opportunist, and so that is going to allow us to choose one power to harness into an item for each infusion slot item slot you have. 2 equals let's see, choose one power to harness into an item for each infusion slot you have. Change which power. The max rank of power infused is based on your Artificer level power. There. Change which powers are harnessed when you gain a level. Gear can be attuned to any can be attuned to by characters that can channel first rank or greater power. So if you can't channel powers, you can't use this stuff. Artificers can. Let's see. Gear can be attuned to by artificers and characters that can channel first rank or greater powers. Strikes can't be channeled through spell attacks. So you could, a 6th level artificer could imbue an item with a 2nd level power. And so let's see, where did we have boop, 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 boop. I'm on the hunt, don't mind me. Is that all we had to say about that? No, I swear we had more to say about that. Let's see, Artificer, there we go. Yeah. Infusion, total, max rank. Great. Artificer level, infusions known, total items there. When choosing an infusion, you can choose one power up to your max rank to infuse into an item. 2, 6, 10, 14, 4, 3, 8, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. Max rank is 1, 2, 3, and then 4th rank at 14th level. So each item can hold one infused power. Each item holds a number of charges equal to the Artificer's proficiency bonus minus the rank of the item. So if you are a 17th level Artificer, your proficiency bonus is 6. And if you have infused a 4th rank power into that item, 6 minus 4 equals, it has 2 charges, so you can use it twice. Once charges are expended, they can't be regained. An Artificer must infuse a new item, which replenishes the charges. So once charges are expended, for example, a 2nd level Artificer with a PV plus 2 can create an item infused with first rank power, which can have 1 charge. A 17th level Artificer that creates the same item can have up to 5 charges. First rank minus 6 equals 5. So if a character can with channeling levels attunes, if an Artificer or a character with channeling levels attunes to a power item, you can use your mana pool to channel the stored power instead of an item's charge. Instead of that item. Instead of an item's. And the power infused in the item is considered part of your known powers in regards to your max channel limit, or stacking effects using the powers infused in the item. When a creature uses a power that rolls a power die, the size of die is D4 unless the creature has channeling levels and is attuned to the item. It can then use its own power die size instead. There you go. Mana crystals. An artificer can craft a crystal from magical energy to hold a number of mana up to the max channel limit of the artificer's infusions. A creature must be attuned to a mana crystal to use any mana it holds, spending any number of mana at once up to the max limit. For example, a 14th level artificer can craft a mana crystal that holds up to 4 mana, which can be spent as a single power channeling 4 mana or 4 separate uses of 1 mana each, or any combination. A mana crystal can't regain any lost mana. The artificer must create a new mana crystal with a new charge of mana. Okay, cool. So what are the new thoughts that we have about this? Let's go. List of powers. Let's see. Feats as powers. When you learn a new power or gain a level, I'll make it easier. Instead of learning a power, you can instead learn a feat. 1. Let's now go through all the feats. But before we do that, let's look at more imbuements real quick. Mana, Artificer class feature, mana crystals, imbue, weapon properties. When you infuse a weapon, you can choose to grant the item weapon properties it doesn't normally possess. You can let's see what properties. Let's go to game rules and equipment. Let's go to weapon. Weapons. Let's look at the weapon types. Gain armor, chainmail, remail, heavy armor, weapons. Weapon properties, there we go. mass, heavy, light, reach, thrown, anything else? Nope. When you infuse a weapon, you can choose to grant the item. You can choose to grant the item weapon properties it doesn't normally possess from the list below. Range equals prof bonus times 10 feet. One, two, three, four, 5. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so the way that this works is that let's see. When you infuse a weapon, you can choose. Okay, let's go look at the actual Artificer rules. Where are we at? Artificer. You know what an Artificer is, right? Okay, thanks. Let's look at the class features and go to imbue. This is our last burst, and then we are. How much time in are we? Hour and 13. Okay, great. So yeah, we got 20 minutes and we're done. So infuse items. Infusion's known. Infuse an item. Let's see. Artificer, right tool for the job. Ability score. Blah blah blah. I want to get to infusions. I want to see what the magic weapon infusion is to see, like, what does it do. So. What I want to do is you create your weapon is now magical and can acquire one of these properties. That's what I want to do with it. Okay, magic item. Repeating shots. Radiant weapon. This weapon gains a +1 bonus to attack damage rolls made with it. In addition. Okay, great. We're going to go with that for now. We're going to grab that. And then we're going to see where else enhanced weapon. He's a +1 bonus. +10th level. Okay. Good. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's go to here, and then let's go with enhanced weapon. Let's go with empowered weapon. Empowered weapon. Oh wait. As prerequisite. How do you write that? Item prerequisites first. Great. This magic weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack damage rolls made with it. In addition, when you infuse, in addition, this weapon choose one empowered option. Option of weapon properties to grant. Choose one. In addition, choose one of the following options to empower the weapon. The following options to grant the weapon properties. Weapon to grant the weapon. In addition, choose one of the following. In addition, I'm trying to say choose one of the options below to infuse your weapon with those additional properties. If it doesn't. In addition, choose one of the property options. Choose one of the. In addition, choose one of the property option. Choose one of the weapon property options below. The weapon gains these properties if it doesn't already possess. Light with finesse, item now requires one hand. Heavy with reach, item now requires two hands. So let's take a dagger. A dagger starts with the light and finesse properties, but if you were to apply heavy and reach, your dagger doing d4 damage would now require two hands, qualify for as a heavy weapon, and would have reach. Is that optimal? No. It is not optimal, but it's something you could do in case you wanted to. Like a spear, for example, normally has reach, now it has heavy weapon. So you can use Great Weapon Master for heavy weapon applications, for example. Or anything could acquire the Throne property if it doesn't have it already. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's going to be niche cases when you have it, but like if you've got like a fighter rogue and you've got a pole arm weapon and you want to apply light and finesse, heavy and reach, I don't think. Weapon can be wielded in one hand. Heavy with reach. I don't think I need any other key. Okay, it's like if you've got a two-handed sword, and you apply the light with finesse, the light with finesse property. Weapon can be wielded with one, and can now be wielded in one hand. Am I good with that? 6th level to do it. So you can have a dagger; it can become heavy. So you can use heavy. You can use Great Weapon Master with it, even though it only requires one hand to do it. And heavy with reach. Yeah. This does things like let your small size, a small creature wielding a axe, a hand axe, for instance, can now apply the heavy and reach property to it. It would wield it in two hands. It applies as a heavy weapon, so you can take Great Weapon Master, as well as have reach. So I'm pretty happy with that. I am pretty happy with that. Okay, cool. That's good enough for me. It's good enough for now. Let's see. And then we were looking at feats as powers. So we're back to feats and powers. Let's see if it makes sense for us to scale things out. Let's see. Sharpshooter. Let's go, I don't know, Sharpshooter. Sentinel. How's that go? Don't need that. Savage attack, huh? Once per turn, when you roll damage from a melee weapon attack, you can re-roll the weapon's damage dice and use either savage attack. Ritual Caster, skip. Revenant Blade. Sure, why not? Revenant Blade. Nope. Prodigy, you gain 1 skill proficiency. Nope. Polar Master, damn. Ooh, Poisoner. You can prepare and deliver deadly poisons. No resistance. You can apply poison to a weapon. Oh, hell yes, Poisoner. Poisoner's good. Piercer. Orcish Fury. Yeah, definitely not. Revenant Blade. 1. Feats as powers. Instead of learning a power, you can learn a feat. Any ability score increase from these. Cool, resolve that. That means Revenant Blade is, yeah, that's for separate attack first. Okay, so that sets up the cadence for us. Piercer. Piercer, Polar Master, does that gain a stat? No. Prodigy, Resilient, Revenant Blade, separate attack, Sharpshooter. Huh, okay, we somehow ended up with more than before. Weapon Master. You gain proficiency with 4 weapons. That doesn't really apply because all these guys like have full weapon access. Warcaster. You have advantage on Constitution saving throws you make to maintain your concentration. Spell. You perform somatic components. Hostile creature. Yeah, you can't have Warcaster because you're not casting spells or powers. Wood Elf Magic. No. Weapon Master. No. Warcaster. No. Tough. Yeah, tough makes sense. Tough. Telepathic. I will allow telepathic. Telekinetic. Telekinetic, I'll allow that. Tavern Brawler. There we go. Arm Strike, Proficient. Tavern Brawler, I'm good with that. Squat Nimbleness. Nope. Small Sniper, nope. Slasher. Attack deals slashing damage. You can reduce the speed of the target by 10 feet. Score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to the creature. You grievously wounded until the start of the next turn. The creature has disadvantage on all attack rolls. Slasher. Yep. Skulker. Nope. The reason I'm saying nope to these is because there's powers that are like exploits and sustained and maneuvers that already do a lot of this stuff. So I don't want to have too much weird overlap. You can take the attack action on your turn, use a bonus action to try to shove a creature. If you aren't incapacitated, you add your shield's AC bonus to your dexterity saving throw, and if you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to only take half damage, you can use your reaction to take no damage. Shield Master. Shield Master. There we go. We already have Sharpshooter, Shadow Touch Skip, Sentinel, got it already. Yep, Second Chance, Skip. We already have stuff that can do that. Savage, that was a smart one. Ritual Caster is in O. Revenant Blade. Resilient. Yeah, nope. We already have abilities that can do that. When you have a knack for learning stuff. Nope, we have stuff. Pam, have that already. Piercer, Orcish Fury. Okay, great. Back to where we were. Observant, no. Mounted Combat. You have advantage on melee attack rolls against any unmounted creature that is smaller than your mount. You can force an attack targeted in the mount to target you instead. Mounted Combatant. Moderately armored. Increase your dex, you gain percent. Oh, got it. Yeah, Inope. Mobile. We already have stuff that can do that. Meta Magic Adept, nope. Medium Armor, nope. Martial Adept, nope. No. Yeah, nope. Magic Initiative, nope. Mage Slayer. If I was to cast a spell, you can use your reactions. Oh, that's my timer. All right, let's skip Mage Slayer. We're gonna skip Lucky, Linguist. Yeah, Linguist feels like a first level thing. We'll go with that. Linguist. I think I can finish off this list real quick. Lightly armored, Keen Mind. Inspiring Leader. See, hear you, understand you. Each creature has temporary hit points equal to your level. No, we're gonna skip that. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So screw you. Infernal Constitution. Increase your Constitution score. You have resistance to cold damage and poison damage. You have advantage on saving throws. Nope, we have things that do that already. Heavily armored. Nope. Healer. No, we have things that do that already. Gunner. No. Grappler. You have advantage on attack rolls against creatures you are grappling. You can use your attack to try to pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grappling check. If you succeed, the creature are both restrained until the grapple ends. No, we already have stuff like that. Gift. Flames. Firearms. Specialist. Where's that from? Critical roll. Fighting Initiative. Tasha, you have mental training, help you develop a particular fighting style. Result, Fighting Initiate. Yes. Fade Touch, no. Ooh, Fade Away. Nope. Accuracy, increase your dex, blah blah blah. Whenever you have advantage on an attack roll using dex, whiz, or charisma, you can re-roll one of the dice. We got things that do that already. Elemental Adept, we got things that do that already. Fortitude, got it. Durable, when you roll a hit die or you gain hit points, minimum gain. Okay, that doesn't apply because that's a permanent feature, not something you can learn or unlearn. Dungeon Delver. You have advantage on saving throws made to avoid resisting traps. You can resist damage dealt by traps, and traveling at a fast pace doesn't impose a -5 penalty. Okay, I like Dungeon Delver. We'll give that one. Dual Wielder. Dragon Hide. Yeah, okay, we'll skip that. Skip that. Defensive Duelist. When you are wielding a finesse weapon with which you are proficient and another creature hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your armor's class for that attack potentially. Okay, great. Defensive Duelist. Crusher. You have 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't do. When you make the attack action, attack a one-handed weapon you can use. You ignore. Loading probably. Okay, we'll go CVE first. I'm fine with that. Chef. You gain proficiency. Part of a short rest. You can cook special food. Chef. Ooh, Charger. No, we already have things that cover that. Bountiful Luck. An ally, you can see it in 30 feet, rolls an attack. Okay, we already have things that can modify, stuff like that, so we don't need it. Athlete. Skip that. Alert. We can include alert. Other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as long as a result of being unseen by you. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm good with all these things. Okay, great. So let's see. Period. You don't gain any ability score increases from these feats. When you gain a level, you can. When you gain a level, you can replace these feats with different power selections if you choose. Third rank. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There, let me go second rank. Okay, so great. Typically, you're going to gain first rank. I mean, if you're just playing a single class character, you're going to get it at second or third level. If you are in second rank, would be gained at sixth. And then if you're multi-class, you can just gain it, whenever you gain access to these. But these are things that, like, you can continue doing chefing stuff, while you have learned the chef feat. This allows your character to free up their power budget and their ASIs to continue increasing ability scores if you choose. And of course, when your 4 levels rolls around, if you had previously picked up dual wielder at 2nd level, for instance, you could swap it out for the actual feat at 4th level and then free up this power for something else. So that's our spiel today between the Artificer, the changing of the ranks. I'm going to go ahead and just pick up the feats as powers and just drop them into the playtest document for you guys to look at on your own. We'll copy this and we'll go over here. Wait, this is the, yeah. Here is the open playtest where we made all the changes already. Dot 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 dot. What is that? Does that sustain powers there? Is it the end of the list? Cool. And then we'll go down to the end here and feats as powers. Instead of learning a power, you can learn a feat. You don't gain any ability score increases from these feats. Don't require any mana to use. When you gain a level, you can replace these feats with different power selections if you choose. So this is going to let your, like, if you're playing a like a fighter power champion, and at 3rd level you pick up that subclass. Looking at the master table here. Okay, great. So you are a 3rd rank. So we're gonna go with 1, and we're gonna go D6 here. Okay, great. So you have a total of 3 powers at 3rd level as a fighter, and you have 2 mana. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait. That is the old paradigm. Open playtest. Strikes. Cool. Resolve that. Roll out power invocations, cleaning up language. Okay, so magic items as power gear is going to be our next session, and then Artificer subclasses on top of that. So just to make sure we're on point with where we're supposed to be, we have these included. That is the open playtest, and then spinning back to the beginning of the open playtest, if we are looking at the 3rd level fighter that chooses the power champion, you got total powers of you have 3 powers, and then you've got a total of 3 mana that you can spend on those powers. But with those 3 powers, instead of actually acquiring any powers, you could instead choose any of these 3 feats. I mean, obviously you could take Variant Human and acquire it at 1st level as well, but yeah, here you go. Here's a slew of useful feats that you can choose, but you would have to wait until 6th level as that fighter, once you acquire 2nd rank, to pick up the rest of these arguable must-haves. There is no difference in scaling. I'm going to get rid of tough because that increases your hit points, and that is not the nature of what we're doing here. I think that works. Alert, shaft, crossbow, expert. Yeah, these are all temporary gains. I think I'm pretty happy with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good with that. I know it's I mean, if you really want to have one of these feats earlier, you'd get it at 6th level, but you could also obviously gain one of them at 4th level. That's fine, but then you'd be able to fill out all the other stuff once. I mean, at 6th level, geez, McCrow. At 6th level, you've got 6 points. You got 6 points. You got 5 powers. Plus, if you're using feats, this lets a DM not allow feats in the game, only allowing ASI, but then giving martial classes access to feats instead of making it just universal. I can just say, yeah, if you're using martial powers, you can spend powers on feats. There you go. Pretty easy. This is a house rule and a house rule. So if you wanted to dive in deep, you could ignore your mana pool and just invest in feats, period. Anyway. So that's where we are today, guys. We're going to pick up next week. We're going to continue with the Artificer and magic items, building out the curve for powers as power gear instead of magic items. We call them power gear. How about that? And we're just going to keep this up. So tune in with us next Monday for more martial powers. On Friday, we're going to continue our Descent into Avernus conversion. Last Friday, we episode 18, we did some serious work on building a just generic system for Infernal War Machines, vehicles, right? And we figured out the basic frame for how those things do. And then when you pick up with us this upcoming Friday, we'll be breaking down enhancements from Saltmarsh, as well as like just the generic weapons that they have in there and how we can scale those things up to the 50-foot and the 500-foot scale. So, we're doing work, guys. We're coming along. Thursday, I've got another play test in the evening for the 8th level Eberron adventure, Crystals of Mabar, that we've been building, and we're working on the final boss fight, layer action type stuff to see how, just to make sure it's challenging and fun. And if that clears, then we are essentially done with playtesting for the Eberron adventure. We've got everything rough coded into the adventure up to the boss fight. So all 3 acts are taken care of with just the rough text right now. I am getting to a point where I will be streaming more map and artwork for Eberron, as well as we're getting close to done with In Command as well. We're going to have a lot of upgrades happening here in the next week or so, and we're going to start Descent into Avernus playtesting. Not this weekend, but probably the following weekend, like the 23rd maybe, like the 21st or the 23rd. That's coming up pretty quick. So if you're interested in Descent into Avernus with us, or if you're interested in playtesting any of this stuff, check out my Patreon link. Drop me comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Follow me on Twitter and hit me there if you want. Looking forward to more with you guys. So stay on board, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.